Welcome everybody to the very first episode of SparkleDart. I am your host, my name is SparkleDart, and today we're going to be playing a game that I like to call Super Mario World 2. It's real fun. I used to play at my grandpa's house all the time. You know, I'd go over there as a little baby boy, and I'd be like, "Hey grandpa, do you have any video games I can play? I've got a need to satiate my, stimulation. I'm part of this new generation who's always connected to screens and TVs and, Game Boys and stuff, and, I'd really like to have something like that so that I could just distract myself all day and not have to talk to my family, even though we all came over here to talk to you and Grandma." And he'd be like, "Yeah, I got something like that for you to play. It's called the Mario." And I'm like, "You know what, I'm going to play this game. It looks real fun, so thank you, Grandpa, for affording me this opportunity to play this game. I'm sorry I burped just a second ago." And he's like, Yeah, son, no problem. I am happy to do anything for you. I'm your grandpa. Would you like some hard licorice candies or some, maybe you'd like some hard butterscotch candies? All I have is hard candies. I got the Brock Starbright Mints. I've got all sorts of candies for you and your sisters. And, yeah, just come right on over, reach into this glass bowl and take out all the candy you want to. Play this video game. It was on one of those gigantic gray Game Boys that look like a cassette player, but instead of playing cassettes, it plays little video game chips, the kind that you used to stick inside of your Game Boy. Not that that was an innuendo of any sort. I'm sorry, I've got something caught in my throat. That thing is probably mucus since I've got some sort of sinus infection, I guess. I've always had like a sinus infection for as long as I can remember, which goes back to 2011 because I got very short-term memory. I can't remember anything that happened past 2011. Can you believe that or not? It sounds like a lie, but it's absolutely true. I would never lie about something like that. That's the SparkleDart guarantee. I would never lie to you about something so insignificant, so, just not worth lying about, because, I'm a trustworthy guy. You can always believe everything that I say. I'm going to talk a lot, so there's going to be a lot of things that I say, and trust me, you can trust all of those things. This is strange. Normally in the Marios you kill mushrooms and turtles, not frogs and whatever the fuck this guy is. Okay, well, whatever. That's besides the point. I'm playing this game because I enjoy it, not because I want to pick it apart, There's a fine line between saying you like something and saying you don't like something, but still playing it anyway. And today that thing is going to be that I like to play the things that I am, I like to play the things that I'm going to be showing and playing and videoing. So whatever, I'm SparkleDart. That's what I do. That's a guarantee. That's the SparkleDart guarantee. That, and I will never lie to you. Those are the two guarantees that I promise. And I will take that to my grave. If you don't believe me, then just shoot me dead and find out whether or not I was lying. That's how kind of I have to do it. If it turns out my ghost comes back to life and says, "Well, I was lying the whole time," then whatever. I guess my ghost is a different consciousness than my being. And some people might think that too, because the concept of the soul, the brevity of the soul, the wit, all of that stuff. I don't know if any of that's true, because I don't read books, especially not like Charles Dickens or anything like that. Or this is much more difficult than it should be. Okay, hold on. Okay, wait, now I got. Okay. So, listen, all I'm saying is brevity is the soul of the wit, and I'm a trustworthy man, I'm a stand-up guy. My friends always tell me, "SparkleDart, I can trust you with my secrets, so I'm going to tell you all my secrets." Like Joel, he says, "I cheated on my wife 5 years ago with this girl that I met at a bar, and I wound up seeing her like 2 or 3 times after that even, and he says, "SparkleDart, can you make a promise to me that you'll never tell anybody this information?" I'm like, "Sure, Joel. For you, anything I will do because you are my friend, and I will never tell anybody that information." So, guess what? I never did. And Joel, you can thank me later, buddy. You can thank me for never telling your wife. They did eventually get divorced because she found out about it, so I don't feel so bad about spilling the beans on that, because it doesn't matter. She found out about the same girl that he told me about was the same girl that she found out about, so it's not like it made a difference if I told you now, because, see, you probably thought I was making some sort of joke there where I tell my friend a secret and I'm like, "Yeah, I'd never tell any secret," and then I give you the example of the time that I told that secret, but it was actually something that I did wrong. And you probably thought that I was telling a joke, but no, that's actually how it went down. So thank you much for appreciating the fact that I might tell a joke such as that one, but that was not a joke, and I will tell more jokes in the future, I promise, but that was not a joke. So here's an example of a joke I might tell. What is brown and sticky? A stick? That's the joke. Go ahead and yuck it up, because that was a good one. I've been saving that one up for a little while, And I thought that that was a perfect opportunity to tell it. And if you didn't think that the joke was funny, then I guess that you and I probably have a different definition of what funny means, you know? I mean, not everything is funny to every person, and that's fine because, you know, variety is the spice of life, I believe is the saying. I don't know exactly because I don't read books, like I said. I'm not a fucking nerd. I'm literate, but I'm not a fucking nerd, and there's a difference between those two things, you know. A lot of time, I think the people who read books are just pretentious assholes who want to look more learned than their contemporaries, and I believe it, you know, because there's something to be said about a man or a woman, I'm not discriminating here, who can hold a conversation about the finer things in life, such as literature or musicals and paintings by Van Gogh, you know, that Charles Dickens stuff, whatever, it's all good. Now, if you want to ask me what my favorite Robert Frost poem is, I couldn't tell you because I don't read this stuff, you know. Like I said, I'm a man of the world, but the world that I'm a man of, is that? Yeah, that's right, okay. I'm a man of the world, but the world that I'm a man of is not the same world that you literate types like to pretend you're part of. You know, I read a book called Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, and it really opened my eyes to actually how pretentious the world is. And there, I took you for a loop again. It was a bait and switch. You thought I was going to say it opened my eyes to how corrupt the world is, but actually it opened up my eyes to how pretentious and full of themselves people in this world really are, including Miss Rand, who was actually, you know, she was quite a lady, you know, quite the lady. Actually, I think she was Russian. She lived in the Soviet Russia, and she came to the U.S. to write about her political ideals and how she thought that Russia was stupid and how she hated the government and how she wanted to bring it down from the inside by building trains across the railroad with fake metal, right? So that was how that book went. So if I spoiled anything for you, I'm sorry. It's a 1,000 long page book. It's very long. If you want to read the whole thing, there's probably better summaries online. There's 2 parts of a movie that they're going to make 3 of, I think, that all bombed pretty horribly. I mean, they were pretty much panned, I think. I don't know. One of them was on Netflix. I didn't watch it because I read the book, and most of the time people say that the book is better than the movie, and I believe it because the thing is, when you're reading a book, you imagine the characters very vividly in your head on what they look like and, you know, who they are, how they appear to you, and it really paints a picture for what you expect to see when the movie comes out. But then when that movie comes out and it fails to meet your expectations, at that point you're just like, well, I didn't like that movie very much because it didn't, you know, the characters didn't look the way that I was hoping that they would. Like Harry Potter, I think everybody was kind of thrown for a loop. I mean, Miss J.K. Rowling paints her characters very well in the books. She makes a lot of mentions to the fact that Harry Potter has like shaggy jet black hair, and then it's like Daniel Radcliffe. He's like, yeah, I'm the same Harry Potter. And I think that Harry Potter was the role that Daniel Radcliffe was born to play, because I watched him in another movie called The Woman in Black, which I thought would be like a parody or a sequel to The Men in Black, but it actually wasn't. It was about ghosts instead of aliens, so it was, you know, similar in the sense that it was paranormal, but it wasn't so similar in the sense that it wasn't a comedy movie starring Will Smith. And that's really what I was hoping I was going to find when I watched The Woman in Black, you know, because it just, you know, the title was misleading is all I'm going to say. Like when I watched the 2012 movie, 2009, it was a lot longer ago than that, 2009 movie, Avatar, I thought it was going to be about, that Nickelodeon show, The Last Airbender, but it turns out it was actually about blue cats in space, and I'm like, these blue cats in space are funny, but they're not, you know, Arrowhead and his flying spirit dragon, you know, that Sebastian had in the Never-Ending Story, because I thought that that was the same character, you know. I thought it was some sort of like weird homage, a parody, or like a spin-off or something. I thought maybe Falcor got his own spin-off called Avatar: The Last Airbender, but it actually turns out that that was a different movie completely. It was a different show. It was a different production completely, and it really, you know, it threw me off. And I felt kind of used when I watched that movie, because I went to the theaters hoping that I'd see some flying airbenders in space and with giant cats, and all I saw was blue people on the moon. And you know what? Blue people on the moon? Hey, that's not a bad idea for an album title, if I do say so myself. Too bad I don't have a band, you know. That's like the third fucking one that I've missed. What's going on here? Okay, whatever. Well, I went to the movie theater to watch a movie called Avatar. I got disappointed and I left, and I walked out, and then that movie came back out in theaters like a year later. I was like, where are we at this point in society where they show the same movie twice in a movie theater on different occasions? Like, did anybody really like the movie so much that they had to re-release it without changing anything at all? Maybe they made it 3D, or maybe they made it stereoscopic or something, I don't know. Because I didn't see the second showing. It was just like, well, I walked out of the first showing, so I didn't bother to go see the second showing. I thought this movie's garbage. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not the movie that I wanted to watch, so I didn't go and watch it. And, people at work the next day said, did you see that movie Avatar? I'm like, are you talking about the one with the forehead arrow kid? And it's like, no, that's not the movie I'm talking about. What are you talking about? I've never heard of something like that. I'm like, well, listen, my brother Joshua, he really liked this show called Avatar: The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon, and I would see him watching it sometimes. I'd maybe watch it with him if I had to wait until I had to go do something. I didn't have any way to kill time because Joshua was watching TV, and he's a special kid, so I like to indulge him in his interest. He's a nice kid, really. He's nice. He's very thoughtful, very understanding. You tell him a secret, he'll keep that secret for you, just like me. It runs in the family. It runs in the family, so if you tell Joshua a secret, telling you this right now, he will never tell anybody, and that is the SparkleDart guarantee. That is the third guarantee that I'm going to make, and that probably won't be the last guarantee that I'm going to make, even in this one video that I'm doing right now. So, if you like me, then you like my brother Joshua, and that's, that's just the way that it is. That's the way that it has to be, because me and Joshua, we're two peas in a pod, we're like, even though I think peas come in large groups of, like 3 peas in a pod normally? I don't know, it's difficult to ascertain that information when you don't know it, because, I'm not much of a culinary expert either, they say that vegetable is strictly a culinary term, so to say that I don't know much about culinary means that I don't know much about vegetables. Actually, most vegetables, the way that we know them, are actually what, I guess they're just the leaves of the plant. They're the, hold on here just a second. Vegetables are the leaves of the plant. They're, the roots of the plant. They're all parts of the plant except for the flowering bud, the ovary of the plant, which is typically what the fruit would be, like the apple or the grape or the dragon fruit, the mango, the cantaloupe. Is cantaloupe a squash or a melon? It's a melon. Yeah, it's a melon. Trust me, I know all about melons. Men, am I right? I was going to say ladies, but no, there are ladies that know all about melons. Ladies, I'm not going to exclude you if you like the melons. There's all sorts of things to appreciate about the female form and about fruit. And those two things you might not think go together at all, but I think that they can if you make the right metaphors for them, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, ladies, you're gay, that's fine with me. I have no problem with the gays. The gays are fine by my standard. They get the SparkleDart seal of approval. If men want to be gay, that's fine. I'm not super into that one, though. I looked that up on porn.com is the website. I'm sure that's a real website. I really don't know if that's a real website. Okay, here's a fun fact for you. They say that every single 4-letter domain name has already been registered. So I played this game for a little while where I would type in 4 random letters on my keyboard, .com, and go there and see what I could find. Now, the disappointing thing about this is that most of these 4-letter domain names were actually just those websites that when you go there, it's like, hey, buy this domain for however much money. And usually it's stuff like fark.com or, bing.com, stuff like that. But then you got real weird, obscure ones like fish.com and skim.com and tund, that's tund.com. Somebody want to go to tund.com and figure out what that is for me, I'd be more than happy to plug you on my thing here. I'd be like, hey, this guy, he found out this for me. He's a real good scouter of information. He's got the Audrey 2s and the Audrey 1s going on here. Sorry, I was distracted by those flowers that were shooting fireballs at me. They were looking a lot like that one character from The Little Shop of Horrors, which is a movie that I really like. And when I say that out loud, maybe it sounds like I said whores, but actually I said horrors, like the Goosebumps book Nightmare at Horrorland. When you say horror, you sound like some sort of weird dog howling at a coyote that he sees on his master's backyard. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try not to sound like a coyote because I don't appreciate when people imitate animals, because I think it's actually very bad to try to imitate an animal to that said animal, because they might take that as a threat or a challenge, and you don't know what their body language is saying. They don't know what your body language is saying. So if you're trying to communicate with an animal in his own tongue, he's not going to understand what you're saying. You know, dogs can and do understand human speech to a certain extent, not so much the extent that you and I do, but actually dogs, they recognize that certain sounds that come out of your mouth mean certain things. Like when you say treat, he knows that you're going to give him something sweet to eat. And when you say outside, he knows that means that he can go run around in the grass. And you know what? Grass is great, because grass, you can run around in grass all day long. And you come back inside, your pants are all green at the knees, and they're all torn at the bottom, and you smell like freshly cut lawn. And then you got to wash everything because you itch all over. You got to take a shower. It's fun. It's fun to have to take showers because you were outside all day. You know what? I'm not going to retract what I said there. That's exactly true. I like going outside. It's just that the thing is, I live in a climate with extreme temperatures, very extreme temperatures. Now, one day it might be I don't know, like 72 degrees outside. The next day, maybe it's something more along the lines of 41 degrees. And that happens. That happens every time that I go outside. It's just horrible for me to go out and experience, because it really it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel sick and gross and smelly and whatever else other adjectives I want to use to describe myself. And we have such extreme changes in temperature. I'm just kind of ranting here because I live in a place that really makes me uncomfortable most of the time, and I'd like to move to a place where I can be uncomfortable all the time instead of most of the time, because when you have those days that it's like maybe 65 degrees and it's real nice, and it's not so humid and it's not so I guess cold or hot or nothing like that. You got good days like that, but then the next 4 days in a row might be too hot, too humid, or maybe you just... That's the last one that I wanted. That's horrible for me. That's the worst one that I could have gotten. Not that it's a bad thing to get more one-ups, but you know what? I'm going to just take a step back and appreciate the things that I've been granted by this game. This game knows a lot about gaming sense, and you know what? You might think that this game's kind of weird because it looks different than the last Mario that you played, but honestly, I don't see how that's a real problem. If you played a Mario like the one that came out on the 1985 console or the 1991 console, you'll be like, these games feel different than this one. This one's real small, it feels like it's just kind of strange. It's different in a way that I don't really understand. I'd rather not play this one if I could help it. I would just play the other one that was infinitely better. And I don't know if you should use the word infinitely better to describe something like that, because it makes it sound like this one's not good. And trust me, this one's good even if it's real short. Now, you can play the 1991 game, which I think was called Super Mario Land, and you can beat that one in like an hour and a half. But this one, Super Mario World 2, you beat in like maybe 50 minutes. It's much shorter, that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's shorter. It's not like it's any less fun, it's just there's less content. Having less content isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now, these days when people go to the movies, these movies today are like 2.5 hours long, and it's just way too long for me. You know what? I've got shit to do. I can't commit myself to watching a movie that's that long and not have to, get up and go to the bathroom or go make a phone call or, I don't know, go get some more jujubes from the concession stand, whatever it is I have to do, because, I'm a busy guy who eats a lot of jujubes, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just who I am and what I do. So if you got a problem with the jujube situation, then I highly suggest that you take it somewhere else, because I'm not going to apologize for what I said. I don't even know what the apology would be for, to be honest. Anyways, jujubes, whatever, what the fuck ever, I don't care. I'm just kind of ranting now, because I get real heated, when I'm talking about things that I'm real passionate about. I get real heated, and you know, it takes me for a loop. I get mad, I get angry, I start throwing things, I start kicking cups and, you know, throwing newspapers all around. It's just a real mess for all of you people to watch, and I'd rather you not have to experience that from me, because it's really unbecoming, and a man like me should have more pride in himself not to do things that a petulant child would do, because I am not a petulant child, and that is also another SparkleDart guarantee. So thank you for keeping track of all of my oh fucking shit, it's Dracula. Okay, so thank you for keeping track of all of my shortcomings and my guarantees and my SparkleDarts. You know, I really appreciate you and how much you care about the show. You know, you're trying to make the show just as good as I'm trying to make it for everybody else, and I give you a thumbs up for that. You know, you're real great in that regard. I'd like to thank everybody for just kind of being here, supporting me, what it is I do, what it is I like to do, who it is I like to be, so it's wrong with taking the back streets. You know, you never know if you don't glow. Waka wah wah. I'm done with that. You can rest assured I am done making that joke. That is an overplayed joke, and I don't like to overplay jokes very often unless it's real funny or real ironic. See, the thing about humor, and I believe it, is that if you do something completely ironic, then it's, you know, it can be humorous. Irony is a very good source of humor. I think irony is the best source of humor. Irony is also a good source of energy and strong muscles, but you got to make sure that you don't have too much zinc or copper in your system alongside that irony. Otherwise, you might be shitting blood, and that's not a good thing. If you get some internal bleeding in your intestines or in your liver or something like that, then you're going to want to make sure to cut back on the iron. You know, the iron's real, it lays on real thick is what I'm saying. If you have too much of it in too short of an amount of time, it lays on real thick, and you have to compensate for that fact. You know, it's a bad situation all around. It's not something I recommend you do, is eating too much iron. Now, spinach, you know, it's real good for you. Red meats, they're real good for you too. Turkey's got a bit of iron in it. I think eggs got a little bit of everything. Eggs got your iodine and your zinc and your, you know, just proteins and cholesterol, but not bad cholesterol. Now, there's a difference between good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't really tell you what the difference is, but bad cholesterol, it really, you know, it takes you for a spin. If you get too much of that in your system, it can clog your arteries. You don't want to clog your arteries, your blood pathway, your veins, your intravenous bodily tubes, you know, if I may be so bold as to say, because that's exactly what they are. The tubes that transport blood all around your body, and blood is the most important thing that you got besides your brain, mister. And those two things are so important that, you know, those two things are so important that you have to make sure you're taking care of both equally as well. You can just kind of forget about your intestines, your liver, your lungs. Your heart's pretty important too. But that kind of goes alongside blood, because without those two things, without one of those things, the other one would be completely pointless, and having pointless organs that only function codependently of having something else, you know, it really says to me that maybe you're not understanding what it is that your body can do. So anyways, I'm talking about blood, right? So if you're hemophiliac, don't listen to this real quick. I'm going to go into some graphic detail about is hemophiliac the one that passes out when they see blood? Is that the one that is? If you're that, then don't listen to this, because I'm going to be talking about blood for a little while. Because you know what? I like blood. I like blood, not even like a morbid way. It's just real, you know, it's real neat, really, to think about that there's some sort of fluid pumping through your veins. You got your bloods, your hemoglobins, your red blood cells, and all that stuff. Your hemoglobins are basically plasma and oxygen or sodium or whatever else it is that those go in your body, and they produce all sorts of beneficial things for you. They go to your muscles, your arteries, your capillaries, all that stuff. You know what? It's like a beautiful synchronized dance, I guess. You know what? Your body is so synchronized that oh goodness me. Your body is so synchronized that if one little thing were to go out of whack, the whole thing would shut down, because it tries to repair itself, and you know what? If you can't repair those parts of your body... Hold on, what was I saying? Okay, so your body's like a synchronized ballet. Not to sound like I go to the ballet or nothing, because of there's nothing wrong with going to the ballet. The ballet is for everybody. It's it's kind of manly. There's all sorts of professional footballers who went to the ballet so that they could learn more muscle coordination, so that they could learn how to control their passes better, their throws, whatever it is that those footballers went to the ballet to learn how to do better. You know what? I'm not here to talk that much about ballet because honestly I don't know that much about it now. If you like things like the Black Swan or the Dance of the Black Swan or the March of the Sugar Plum Fairy, all that's, it's all good stuff. It's real good. It's well written. It's not something that I like, but it's well written. It's well performed, and honestly, it's catchy as shit. You ever listen to the March of the Sugar Plum Fairy? It's that one song that they played in the movie Fantasia, which was a movie from like 1966 by Disney about a whole bunch of different overtures that were animated by Mr. Disney himself to the tunes of. I'm actually not sure if those pieces were composed for the movie or if they were pieces that already existed, but I do know that Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies was in there, and also that one with the dancing mushrooms. That one also I don't think was composed by Disney, but I'm not so sure about the rest of them. Like Tchaikovsky, did he participate in this production? Mr. Tchaikovsky, was he there when this happened? Maybe he was. I don't really know because I wasn't around when it happened. That's a little bit before my time. You know what? I'm old, but I'm not that old is all I'm saying. I'm like 42 years old, however old I am. It's not really any of your concern, but it really goes to show how dated stuff like that becomes. You know what? They made a Fantasia sequel in 2000 that was pretty much poorly received. I think they failed to capture the spirit of the original Fantasia. The original Fantasia has a lot of things that are really fucking weird, like Night on Bald Mountain, where a giant gargoyle starts tearing apart souls, ripping skeletons out of the graveyard, and all sorts of crazy stuff like that happens, and it's just so strange to watch. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. There's a part where there's centaurs, and the centaurs are topless, and they're lady centaurs, so it's like a kid's movie, but there's like topless lady centaurs. There's a part where hippopotami and crocodilias dance with each other, and it's real strange because it's like the character from the Sonic Hedgehog. Maybe that's what he was based off of. I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I don't know much about the Sonic Hedgehog characters. There's like a hedgehog and a character and a fox and an enchilada. It's the strangest thing I ever heard. But people like to buy those games, so there must be something going on there. Something that they're doing right, because if they weren't doing it right, then they wouldn't be making those games still in the year of 2015, the year of our Lord 2015, which is the one that we're in right now. We're halfway done with, and we'll be soon going into 2016, at which point I'll need to get a new debit card because mine will expire. Now, I do need to go and get a new driver's license at the end of the year because mine expires at the end of the year, which is around the time that my birthday is. It expires actually on my birthday. Later this year, I guess, would be a better way to have said that. I like to make sure I stay on top of that stuff, because if I don't stay on top of that stuff, then I'll probably wind up going to the Department of Motor Vehicles and waiting there for like 2 hours on my birthday, which I don't know what day of the week that is this year, but maybe it's like a Thursday or something. I don't know. It usually seems to fall on like a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, even though I know that the days of the year are different every single year, but sometimes they're different even more so because of things like leap year or whatever else. Maybe they just adjusted the calendar for some reason. I don't know. It happens. It can happen. It can happen to you. It can happen to anybody. It happened one time. It'll happen before. I guess there was a period of time, I think in the 1600s, I want to say, where they just skipped an entire decade for some reason. I don't know what it was. You'd have to look that one up yourself. I really couldn't tell you. Like the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar, whichever one it is that we use. I think it's Julian. Could be Gregorian though. I really don't know. That calendar just skipped like the years like 1680 through 1691 or something like that. Again, I don't know the exact dates or years, but if you find it, you'll know, because it sounds exactly like what I'm describing. It's not like there was some big mystery. They're just like, you know what, guys? For some reason, we feel like we're out of whack right now, out of sync, and to shake that up, what we're going to do is we're going to just skip some years. It could be that there's only one calendar producer in the world at that point, and they're just like, well, we're going to skip these years, and we'll see if anybody notices. If they don't notice, it'll be up to them to keep track of time, and if they stop keeping track of time, then they'll just have to go off of what we decided to do. And if we make that decision, then we'll have left our mark on history. But the thing is, if they did do that, then we don't know that because they never took credit for it or whatever reason. I don't know. But they didn't leave their mark on history, so if that was their plan the whole time, then they failed horribly. They failed spectacularly, one might even go as far as to say. And, you know, failure can be funny if it's done tastefully, but most of the time, failure is not done tastefully, you know what? It's done in a way that hurts people's feelings, and if you hurt people's feelings in that regard, then it kind of makes you like a bad, shitty person, right? It makes you kind of not such a cool person to know. You're kind of thoughtless. What are you doing? You're making people uncomfortable with your shenanigans. And honestly, I don't have a problem if you're a person who's, I guess, deemed shitty. Because I myself, I've got my moments. Even though I try my hardest to be a real nice stand-up guy. I don't like to step on anybody's toes, hurt anybody's feelings, especially if there's no reason to. You know, like I said, I'm a nice guy. People like me. People call me all the time to tell me their problems. I'm like, yeah, I'll answer your questions, but keep in mind, this is not a permanent thing. You can't just call me whenever you want to, because I've got a lot of obligations on my plate, and I can't be taking time out of my schedule to help you out if you can't help yourself. You know, you have to. I think it was Jesus Christ who said, "I help those who help themselves." Right? Was that the guy? Might have been maybe somebody else like Bruce Willis or Russell Brand, one of those fellas. I don't know. It might have been one of those guys. Who can really say? It was such a long time ago that nobody really remembers. I think that quote came from like the year 12 AD or something like that. So it was a long time ago. I don't really remember. It was, you know, it was before my time. Like I said, it was such a long time ago. Oh goodness me! I just went back into the Mario zone. Okay. So yeah, you know what? Help yourself to the buffet. Oh, okay. So there's a casino in my town. This casino has probably the best buffet I've ever seen. They've got all day long. They've got breakfast buffet like eggs and sausage and bacon and Italian sausage and omelets and hash browns, and they've even got like country potatoes, which are those potatoes that are cut into cubes and seasoned in a way that's just so amazingly good. Now, if you ever go to like Village Inn or Perkins, which maybe those things are regional and you don't have those where you're from, so I just kind of outed my location to the whole world, whatever, it's not a big deal, then you know that country potatoes are super delicious. They've got like rosemary and Lawry's all-seasoning spice, all-purpose seasoning spice is the one. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to get at there just a second ago. I don't know what else they have on them, but you just have to try them yourself if you really wanted the experience for it. So this casino has the best buffet. For $15, you can eat there as long as you want to. You can stay there all day long if you want to. They won't kick you out. And the thing is, they put out different things at different times of day, except for breakfast. Breakfast's out all the time. You can get like crab or black Angus or shrimp any time of the day you want to, with cocktail sauce. It's all, you know, it's all there. The works. It's all for you. Get a shrimp cocktail if you want to at 4 in the afternoon after a day of drinking Bloody Marys and playing the slot machine. You know, it sounds like a real good time. You know why that is? It's because it is a good fucking time. And you know what? You should go there and check it out. If you're in town, if you're around where I live, go ahead and check it out. They got a lot of penny slots there. Some of them actually don't take pennies, and if they do take pennies, you can only play one line with like a 1 in 400 chance of winning even a slight amount of money. So what you got to do is you got to I think $4 is the bet that lets you play every single line for maximum. I got frazzled there. For maximum chance of winning, play $4. You put in a $20 bill, you get 5 plays. Generally, you be making money back the entire time. Pretty much the whole time you'll be making money back. So you actually get much more than 5 plays. You get more than 5 chances. You can play as many times as you want to if you win big. People do win big. My friend David, he won real big one time when he was playing, and I'm like, David, what's your secret? He's like, it's a penny slot. It's completely random. He's like, wow, that's super interesting. How do you know that? It's like, I used to be a casino technician back when I lived in Utah. I used to be a casino technician for one of the casinos that they had in the Salt Lake City area. It was something real fascinating that I learned, which was that all of the slot machines are connected to a network, and that every single slot machine has an identifying number, which is, I think, what they refer to maybe as a PIN number, but it might not be that because that sounds like something that would be used to unlock the machine rather than connect it to a network. But what do I know about computers and networks? I'm just, I'm a slovenly, lazy idiot. That's what I am. That's who I am. That's what I do. I'm just, I'm an everyman, a Joe average, if you will. I'm like an average Joe from the movie Dodgeball, starring Vince Vaughn, who's real politically inclined, and he believes a lot of things that a lot of people try to sweep under the rug, things that you might call conspiracy theories or whatever. I call them truths, and you know what? I think they are truths. So if you're not going to listen to the truth, then holy cow, what is it that you're doing? Oh, pardon me, I got something stuck in my throat. It's mucus! Again, it's mucus. The whole time it was mucus because I got a sinus infection. It's disgusting. It's gross. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with having a sinus infection, but if you have one that lasts for like 11 years and you don't know how to get rid of it, then it really tends to start driving you crazy. Now, the thing is, I got the sinus infection, I don't know when, but I've looked up so many keys on how to get rid of it that it really seems unrealistic. I've been trying to get rid of it for like 2 years now, even though I've had it for like 5, and I didn't realize it was a problem up until I started reading more about it, and they're like, yes, it's something called, it's a strain of bacteria called Candida albicans, and the appropriate nomenclature for when you have it is called candidiasis, or candidiasis, or candidiasis. I don't know. I'm not a scientifically inclined person. I don't know what that thing is. I'm just trying to remember it the best that I can. You look it up, you'll find it much easier than if I was to tell you how it was spelled or something like that. Again, I miss. That's, you know what, that's whatever, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I've made peace with that. I'm a better person for missing. It goes to show that even when you're given a free chance, you can still blow it sometimes. And I believe it because, you know what? If you ever watched NBA, Larry Bird, he, before he got real good, he missed a lot of free throws, even from the three-point line. He missed all of them. Not all of them. He didn't miss all of them. I'm exaggerating. That's a hyperbole, ladies and gentlemen. That's a hyperbole. I don't mean to speak in hyperboles, because when you speak in hyperboles, people start to think that you're crazy, that you're like, maybe you're inclined to believe certain things that aren't necessarily true or something. It's like when you say, for example, it's like when you say, all dogs go to heaven. Obviously, that's not true. Every dog can't go to heaven because some dogs are mean. You ever see a mean dog? Of course you have. There are mean dogs all over the place. You ever go to your neighbor's backyard? He's got a Russell Terrier or something in his backyard. It's barking at you. If you get your finger up to the fence real close, it'll try and bite at you. And you know why? Because it's a mean dog. And that dog, he ain't gonna go to heaven. Now, maybe all Great Danes go to heaven. Maybe all Newfoundlands go to heaven. But not all dogs go to heaven, and that's just the truth. Pit bulls, I think they don't go to heaven or hell. I think they stay in like a state of purgatory. And, they're real nice and sweet dogs, but the thing is, they don't have a soul. You ever look in their eyes? They don't know what's going on. It's absolutely impossible to ascertain what's going on in a bulldog's head by looking at him in the eyes, because he's crazy. Not that he's crazy. He's not crazy. He's just a dog, He's just a dog. He's a sweet dog, but there's not much going on upstairs. Like that Shel Silverstein book, Light in the Attic. He doesn't got one of those. He's got no light up in the attic. And you know why that is? It's because he was bred in such a way that made him strong, and all that strength made his brain small. And that's the way that it works. If you ever see a large, beefy beefcake at the gym when you go there and work out, gentlemen, maybe he's strong, but he doesn't have a lot going on upstairs because, it's like... Ooh, sick. So it's like when you have an ox or a horse and they're pulling a yoke across the field so you can till it. It's like that. Holy shit! Oh shit! Okay. I'm gonna go again. Okay, I'm gonna do that one more time. That's fine, whatever, that's okay. Oh. Sorry, I'm still reeling from what just happened there. That was amazing. So, I was talking about horses and yokes. Horses, you know what? They're not very smart animals. They will, they spook easy, and when you spook a horse, it takes so much effort to unspook a horse. It costs millions of dollars to unspook one horse, and at that point, you're better off just shooting him in the head. And you know what? That sounds horrible. You're like, why would you ever shoot a horse in the head? And let me tell you why. Because When you're a farmer, you got livelihood to think about. You got wives and family, multiple of each. You can't afford to be spending money on horses, you know? A horse is fine, but he's too big to make a good companion. Now, the kids, they might like the horse or whatever. Oh, that was some bullshit. I'm mad now. Your wife and kid might like the horse. What's his name? Butternut Squash is his name. They like Butternut Squash, and he's a good horse, but the problem is that he got spooked, and now he's just useless as a horse. He can't pull anything. He won't, he'll come over and eat apples off of your hand. He'll do that. He'll eat sugar cubes or whatever else he's got. But the thing is, he's just not a good workhorse anymore. He won't pull anything. He can't be a racehorse. He's not strong enough to be a stud. And at this point, you're better off just putting him down, because it actually takes a lot of money and effort to care for a horse, because they're very big animals, they are very large animals, and they take a lot of money. And food for these animals costs you, it will cost you a lot, and it's just better off not to have to pay that much if you're not financially inclined. You can get an even better horse if you were to just sell that horse for, this is going to sound bad, but scrap meat. You know, they sell horses to dog food factories, and they are made out of, some dog foods, they are made out of horses. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. Horses are also meat animals. And I think it's strange that people look down on eating horses, even though they're fine with eating cows and, to a lesser extent, sheep. But they do still eat sheep. I think, what's the term for sheep meat? I don't know. But deer meat's called venison. People eat deers, and that's kind of gross too, because deers can be, holy shit, okay. People eat venison. I ate venison chili one time. It was real good. And the thing is, venison's kind of tasteless, so you have to add a lot of spices to it. We actually added some Jack Daniels that made it real good. There was a lot of... hold on, this situation. Okay, the ball situation has been solved. Thank you. Oh look, it's Luigi. Okay, hi Luigi. Okay, so you put... Come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Don't be doing this to your brother. Hold on, I'm just going to take a minute here and think about what's going on. Okay, I got him. Oh, he's not done yet. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna keep on going, I guess. Okay, well, what was I going on about? Horses and horse meat? Okay. If a horse gets spooked, he's worthless as an animal. You can sell him for meat. People look down at eating horse meat. Okay, that's where I was. Horse meat. Now the thing is, there's nothing wrong with eating horse meat, because honestly, if you didn't know it was horse meat and you're like, this tastes good, then you found out later, you'd be like, well, that's disgusting. Why would anybody eat horse meat? And it's like, if you thought it tasted good before now, but now you don't think it tastes as good, then what's really the difference? It's like when people eat squid for the first time, they're like, why would I want to eat something that has tentacles and one giant eyeball and swims around at the bottom of the ocean attacking sperm whales? Well, have you ever tried it? No, I haven't, but I know it would taste bad. How can you possibly know that it would taste bad? Because it's a squid. It's like if, I don't know, people don't like fish, but fish is good for you. Fish is real fucking good for you. You should eat fish all the time, and that is the SparkleDart guarantee, is that you should eat tilapia, cod, salmon, tuna, bluegill, you know, whatever. Eat all of it. Crappies, eat all the fish. That's all I'm gonna say. And, looks like I might have actually finished the game here. So, yeah, it looks like I'm all done. Okay, so thank you very much for watching SparkleDart talking about whatever the fuck. This was the first episode. It was the first episode I'm ever going to do, so if you don't like it, then it sets a precedent for my channel that maybe you shouldn't be watching. Maybe this isn't the right content for you. Maybe this is the content for somebody else, but not for you, because you like something different than what it is that I'm going to produce. And, yeah, and we'll just leave it at that, because you know what, I aim to please, I guess is what I should say, and I know I can't please everybody. That's just the general truth. Like, if you're the president of the United States, not everybody's gonna like you. Your approval rating should be about 50% because you got Democrats and Republicans, and some of the Republicans didn't vote for Democratic president like what we have now, but maybe not in the next couple of years. We won't have one. Maybe we'll have another Republican president, but it's hard to say at this point because, it's anybody's race. Not everybody's throwing their hat into the ring. And it's just, it's hard to know exactly who's going to be running for president. By next year, we've already got several good candidates. We've got several well-known candidates on the ballot. But at this point, they haven't really started campaigning. They haven't done the caucuses yet. And so we're just going to have to wait around and see exactly how it goes. Now, that's just my opinion. Don't take that one to heart. I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for watching SparkleDart. It's been a real pleasure to have you here. It's been a pleasure to be here and do this. So thank you for watching. I'm going to take my leave now. Goodbye. Mwah.